We are going to go all the way to the bottom of the page, on the last two lines of the page, and the Rebbe was talking about Mivtzoyim and also what to do about doing Mivtzah Purim in the prisons, and he was giving an advice for how to do tzedakah in the prison, since prisons don't usually allow coins into money into the prison to be given to the prisoners. And the Rebbe said, you show them that there's a pushka, you have to arrange it in advance, you show them there's a pushka, and they're going to put it directly into the pushka, and the people are going to take it out, etc. So he was talking among the different miftzayim. He was talking about people in prison, and he was also talking about people that are in hospitals. So now the Rebbe is going to add something about the idea of those that are in the state where they are, as Shalom Mordechai Rubashkin used to call it, a place called prison. On the bottom, there is here an additional point, especially concerning those that find themselves in prison. So he says, top of the next page, since it was taken from them, their day-to-day life of a normal person, people in prison are they're in a situation where they are low of spirit. They are lacking simcha. And even more so, in one aspect, in one component, it's worse than someone that's sick. A sick person, at least he is someone that's at least in control of himself. Nobody's going to tell a sick person what to do. They're not going to order around in general. I mean, in general, he can make decisions for himself. He can decide what and what type of care, etc., etc. At least to the degree that his health permits him to be able to do whatever he would like to do. As opposed to the idea of a prison. In the simple sense, he is bound in chains. He's totally not in control over himself. Therefore, when we encourage his spirit, and we show him and we show him that he also can fulfill the mitzvahs of sending food gifts to each other, and he can give even gifts to the poor in all the details with the full strength. In other words, the Rebbe is explaining why go so crazy. If they won't be able to do it, they're potter. The Rebbe's attitude was never like, okay, they're in a situation where money is prohibited, so therefore they're potter from the mitzvah of giving tzedakah. They're giving matans lo v'yoyin purim. The Rebbe's whole approach is what's in modern terms used inclusivity. How are you going to lift the spirits of these prisoners? Not by showing, you guys don't have this mitzvah because you're in a state and situation where you're not able to fulfill it. So whatever. So we won't do this mitzvah for you. The Rebbe is not that way. So rather, when a person that's in prison feels that they could do the mitzvah in all the details and with the full force, that also like a Gadol B'Yisrael, like the greatest Jew, fulfills when he's in the actual state of freedom. And this person that's in prison is given the capability to fulfill the mitzvahs, just like Mordechai and Esther themselves fulfilled it in their times, and they commanded all Yidden to fulfill it. In addition to the fulfillment of the mitzvah, which is primary, that's the greatest concern, is that the mitzvah should be fulfilled. Like we said before, fulfilling a mitzvah, every single Jew could it could balance the scales towards the entire Klal Yisrael, towards merit. Yesh b'zeh davar gadol b'mitzvahs avos Yisrael. This has a great advantage in the mitzvah of love of a fellow Jew, la'oided u'l'roimim ruach shvolim, to support and to encourage and to lift up the spirit of those that are low. So in other words, in addition to the fact that we are making every single Jew and adding another Jew to do a mitzvah, we have also a special mitzvah that there is when we're dealing with people that are in prison, that we are supporting and elevating their spirit. Now here the Rebbe says something very powerful. The Rebbe is like in explain that, but aren't they in prison because they did certain not nice things? Do we really have to be so concerned about people that have done not nice things that landed them in prison? Do we really have to support their spirits? They made their bed, they might as well lie in it. So the Rebbe says here something amazing. We have to add and to note from what it says in Kehelas, Ho'elikim yivakish es nirdaf. God will search after and will try to help the one who is pursued, the one who is being attacked by someone else, the quote-unquote victim, if you will. Now listen to the way the Rebbe explains the nirdaf over here. It's known, the very powerful medrash that's brought down in Medrash Rabbah. Afilu tzaddik roidef Rosh. Even if a tzaddik is pursuing and attacking a Rosh, so in other words, the Rosh is deserving of it, Hashem still stands to his side. God will look to help out the one who is down, the one who's being attacked, the one who's being pursued, even though he is deserving. Move on, for this understood. Even though it's possible that the one that's sitting in prison is because he is liable for this particular punishment. He did something that landed him there. Still in all. Since he's in the state of victim, meaning he's a victim that he's in the prison, so therefore Hashem wants to and looks to assist and to help the one that's in the state of prison. Since this is so, surely one needs to do everything possible to encourage their spirit, to give them hope, that as to give them the hope that as soon as they resolve and decide to keep away from those type of activities that brought them into prison, they'll have established and good lives till long days and shonim tovim and good years. So here's an amazing concept about the idea of Simcha and Bitochon. Usually the Rebbe speaks words to encourage our own Simcha Bitochon. Here the Rebbe is saying how much it's obligated upon us to encourage others, to give others joy and happiness, especially on Purim, and Bitochon and hope and confidence and trust in the future, despite them being the ones to have maybe been at fault. And then the Rebbe says, so too, Chas v'Shalom, concerning those that find themselves in a hospital, like we see with our own eyes, the great encouragement of a person's spirit that happens when you visit the sick in general. koshur im hadgoshas chashivas mitziusam. It's so much more when the visit is connected with emphasizing the importance of their existence. The Rebbe says here an amazing thing again. There's two ways of visiting the sick. One way you can visit the sick is, it's a big rachmanas on you. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to be nice to you because you're nebuch in such a bad situation. Another way of visiting the sick is encouraging them and pointing out how important they are, especially as we know, many people that are often find themselves confined to a hospital or to a sickbed, feel themselves totally useless and of no purpose. When we come to them on Purim and we say, we, Klal Yisrael, need you to be Mekayim the mitzvah. So we are showing they are important for Klal Yisrael. Sheheim Mekayim mitzvahs kefi shemekayim kol ish Yisrael bari v'sholem begufay. They fulfill the mitzvahs the way every Jewish person fulfills, every Jewish healthy person, every Jew that's complete in his body fulfills. Kach sheyesh b'zeh nekuda nifla u'pu'ula nifla mitzad ha'inyan shel avos Yisrael. So here there is a wonderful and powerful effect because of the Avos Yisrael, the love of a fellow Jew, that this adds a totally new component to Bikur Cholim, more than an ordinary case of visiting the sick. Here, by offering them the mitzvahs of Purim, we make them feel important. They don't feel like they're on the receiving end. They feel like they are contributing to Klal Yisrael. According to what's spoken about many times in the commentaries on the Megillah, you can skip over the parentheses. What's the point of these mitzvahs? No other Yom Tov has these mitzvahs that we specifically send foodstuffs and we have to give tzedakah directly on that Yom Tov, or the purpose is to bring close and to join the entire Bnei Yisrael in the way of loving your fellow as yourself. To make them one existence of a community. So so over here there is a unique opportunity to join also those from Yidden, that for whatever reason, whatever the reason is, they find themselves very low, meaning, for example, those in prison, we don't care what the reason is that they landed there. To raise that person up from his doldrums and to place them and to raise him up and show that he is on the same level like the person that's coming to visit him. The last is always savor upon him yafis, and to do this with a beautiful countenance. When all Yidden join together in oneness, it's surely so that they balance the scale towards merit for themselves and for the entire world. And through the unity of Yidden, that they're called one nation in the land, one being also from the unity of the Yidden. Mamshichim Torah Achas, they draw down the one Torah me'avaya echad, from the one God. Shemamshich ha'inyan the voice la'avaya amlucha, they draw down the idea that for Hashem will be the reign and the kingship. Kfi sheyeh v'bias Mashiach, it's came like it be in the coming of Mashiach. Sha'ozi havaya echad u'shmoyach, then his Hashem will be one, his name will be one. Kishani nichtav ani nikra, that just like Hashem is written, Yud Kei Vav Kei, that's how we will be pronounced, not like we pronounce it now, Aleph Dal Nun Yud. Begula mitzvah shleim, the true and complete redemption, like your days going on the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders because of Mamish. Now we're going to skip over, like I said, for some reason the merging of the files came out backwards, so we're going to go to an earlier place in this Farbrengen. We're going to go down to the Rebbe is encouraging at the beginning of the Farbrengen the importance of the different miftzoim, and the Rebbe says that even though throughout the year a person has to be involved in encouraging Yidden and even speaking to them even 100 times to encourage Yidden to do the right thing, there's a special uniqueness of encouraging other Yidden to do all the mitzvahs that the Rebbe especially pushed, the 10 mitzvahs and so on, especially so in the month of Adar. So we will skip over to the third paragraph from the bottom of the page. Isa b'Gemara, it's brought down the Gemara. Bar Yisrael disli dina b'Adar Nachrim, a Jew that has a court case that he's going to trial against a non-Jew. He wants to be victorious in judgment. He wants to come out the winner. He should make himself available for the court case in the month of Adar because Adar's mazel is strong, is healthy. So therefore, the Rebbe now broadens this, that the guy who you could be going to the court case is the guy that every Yid always deals with. We all have our inner guy. Since there's no greater guy than the Yetzer Hara. The foreign God that's within you, when Adar enters, this is the most fortunate time and the most successful time to be successful in the war, in the battle against the Yetzer, in an unbelievable success. Therefore, it'll be easier to influence others. Therefore, he could influence others better. A person needs to use all of his powers fully. Skip the brackets to the next line. Therefore, when there's a difficult work, so then you need to invest all of your energy for a small type of piece of work. When the avoid is so much easier, it's affected easier because, like we said, the month of Adar, he could take on his nachri, his guide that's within him. Then he could affect and influence in Torah mitzvah so much more than if it would not be the month of Adar. This unique connection is not just to the month of Adar in general, also specifically to the days of Purim. So even though we said Adar in general is a time to take on the inner guide that's within us, Purim is even more so. Concerning Purim, it says, that on Purim it was light and happiness and joy and glory. Chazal explained, that's going, light is going on Torah, shakasher and mitzvah Torah, that's connected with the mitzvah of Torah study, and the glory of the person, that is the tefillin that they wear. Shavuk shakal Torah, the tefillin that the entire Torah was likened to tefillin. By the Rebbe, Purim already began. Purim begins immediately from the first day of Adar. Like we spoke about many times about the ruling of in the Shulchan Aruch, the Ramah, his glosses on the Shulchan Aruch, that he says, he brings us down from the Talmud Yerushalmi, if there's no other choice, that a person is not going to be next to a Megillah, going to be able to hear a Megillah on time, and the latest he could read it is on Rosh Chodesh Adar. Efshar likrais a Megillah hachal Rosh Chodesh Adar. A person could read the Megillah to be fulfilling the mitzvah already from the first day of Adar. Skip the parentheses. As we derive from what it says, the month that was transformed from sadness to joy, from mourning to Yom Tov, which means the entire month is a Purim month. To such a degree that the entire month, its mazel is very healthy. and strong and powerful because of the salvation that took place in the days of Purim. So therefore the entire month is a time that we have the strength to be able to encourage and to be able to elevate others and to encourage them in all the mitzvahim and so on. And now the Rebbe speaks about this idea is also connected specifically with women, and therefore they should be at the forefront of also influencing their mitzvahs that they are about. So he says in paragraph that begins Ches, third paragraph from the top, here there's another point that's specifically connected with Jewish women and girls. The main mitzvah and the unique mitzvah of Purim that specifically enumerated amongst the 7 rabbinic mitzvahs. As we know, Purim is something that was established by the Chachamim. It's not a mitzvah that's written in the Chamish Chumshei Torah, which is Mikra Megillah, the reading of Megillah. So he says, this is the unique part of the mitzvah. Why not? Sending gifts of food to others, to his friends, obviously Yisrael, that's connected with loving our fellow. There's something similar to it throughout the year. And when it comes to gifts to the poor, the mitzvah of giving tzedakah is for sure totally existing throughout the year. The novelty that was added on Purim, that we have a special rabbinic enactment, a rabbinic mitzvah, is in the manner how we give the tzedakah. It has to be specifically to 2 poor people. But the point that the Rebbe is trying to bring out, that the main mitzvah of Purim is the Megillah, and the Megillah has to do with women specifically. When we just look at what is the Megillah called, Megillah Esther. The Megillah is called the Megillah Esther. According to the teaching of Baal Shem Tov, every topic, every matter that a Yid sees or hears, he has a lesson and a directive in serving Hashem. How much more so if he sees a certain thing in Torah that it has a lesson in the service of Hashem. How much more so in a matter it's connected with the name that's called in Lashon Kodesh, like Baal Shem Tov says, brought down Sharich Ve'emunah and Tanya, Shashem Ahava Mekayim Mechayim Mevatas Hanakuda Apnimi Shal Davar Shnikra B'Shem Zeh. The name is the divine energy that gives life and brings into existence and expresses the inner point of the matter and the item that's called by this name. Since the Megillah is called the Megillah Esther, this is a sign that the name Esther expresses what Megillah is about, or else we wouldn't call it Megillah Esther. Now, immediately the question arises, last paragraph on the page. The Megillah itself relates that Esther did not tell anything about herself, just like Mordechai commanded her. That she didn't do anything if it was not by Mordechai's command. Still, in all the Megillah is not called Megillas Mordechai. He was a member of Sanhedrin. The Megillah says he was accepted by the majority of his colleagues, with all the advantages of being accepted by the colleagues of the Sanhedrin. It's not even called Megillas Mordechai Esther. It's not even said Esther getting first billing and Mordechai getting second billing. El al Shem Esther Bovad, Megillas Esther. All it's called is Esther. It's called Megillas Esther. So the Rebbe explains, Habira Pashtasu. The explanation is simple. Lefisha Mesupar B'Shas, because in the Gemara it relates. She Esther Biksho Paula Kisvuni Ledoiris. Esther asked from the Chachamim, and she actually influenced and affected this. write me down my story, the story of Purim, for all times, for all generations. Since Esther was the one that put in effort about this, about writing down the miracles of Purim, that's why it's called her Megillah. And we see a very similar thing to Moshe Rabbeinu. Similar to where it says that the Torah is called Moshe's Torah. In Malachi it says that remember the Torah of Moshe, my servant. Why is it called Torah Moshe? It's the Torah of Hashem. Because the Chazal said he gave up his life, he devoted himself to Torah, so it's called Torah's Moshe. So the same thing, why is Megillas Esther called Megillas Esther? Kach nikras ha-Megillah al Shem Esther. So to the Megillah is called by Esther's name, because she devoted herself. V'tova ma'Sanhedrin, she demanded from the Sanhedrin, Kisvuni l'doiris, write me down for all generations. Now this despite the fact that we said earlier that she didn't do anything without the advice of Mordechai, who was a major member of the Sanhedrin and so on. All of a sudden here, she's demanding things. This itself needs an explanation. How is this possible? How is it possible she had to be the one to do it? It makes sense. Moshe Rabbeinu devoted his life and gave up his life for Torah. There's no one greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. He was the head of the generation, and we know the leader includes in them everyone. But over here we're talking about Esther, that she didn't do anything, only what Mordechai commanded her, like the Megillah itself relates. How does it make sense that the putting in the effort concerning the writing of the Megillah was through Esther and not through Mordechai? To such a degree that the Megillah is called by her name, Megillah Esther. Therefore, what do we see from this? In addition to the fact that the name Esther is related to what it says in the pasuk, I will surely conceal my face. In such a manner of Hashem's concealment was the miracle of Purim distinct from other miracles. It wasn't like the miracle of Pesach, that it was created a whole state of freedom. Pesach, Yidden were completely freed from their oppressors, but rather, how were the Yidden saved in the times of Purim? But rather in a manner that we are still servants of Achashverosh. Still in all, the name Esther comes to indicate that this is something specifically connected with Jewish women and girls. The lesson from this is in addition to the fact that in matters of Purim, every single person has to be invested according to his capabilities, according to his focus and so on. There is a special inspiration concerning the influence of Jewish women and daughters. Since everyone knows that the story about the miracle, and the story relating to what preceded the miracle, and the story of Bitochon and the power of the miracle, all of the parts of the Megillah, it is, where do you find it? You find it in a Megillah that's written and named after a Jewish woman. The very knowledge that the entire story of the Megillah from beginning to end is called by a Jewish woman's name, so this empowers, along with an encouragement. Lemalis tafkidam binyan neres Shabbos kodesh kashas achil v'shtia v'taras mishpacha, that now women have a very special opportunity to be especially successful, to fulfill their mission and in matters of Shabbos lights and kosher food and family purity. Like to explain this farm, the Rosh Tevis of these three mitzvahs is the favor and grace. Hadlokas haner, chalav and nida, kindling of a candle. The mitzvah of chalav, which has to do with the food, kosher food, and nida has to do with taras mishpacha. So too, that they have a special success and a special mission concerning educating the young, like we see with our own eyes, the education of the first years of a child's life, it's almost totally the purview of the mother. How much more so the spirit, the atmosphere in the house, that's dependent primarily in the mainstay of the home, in other words, the woman. This emphasizes even more so concerning all the matters that's connected to Purim. Koilo Gam, including also HaMiftzoim, including all the Miftzoim. And the Rebbe says, even those Miftzoim that are seemingly not connected with women, Afila Miftzah Torah, Va'afila Miftzah Film, even the mitzvah of Torah study, which women are not obligated in Torah study the same manner like men, and definitely they do not put on film. So he says, there are ways that women and Jewish girls and daughters could participate in it, either monetarily. The Rebbe spoke about this on occasion, that the women should give and donate from their money to the Miftzat film. With that, they are supporting it, and it's as if they also are involved in Miftzat film. Or through inspiring their husbands, their brothers, their parents, and their grandparents, like every Jewish woman has in her particular realm. And then when a woman does all these different miftzayim, taking inspiration from Megillah Esther, every Jewish woman and girl has a unique success, along with a unique responsibility. In addition to the general idea that the month of Adar is the month that was transformed because of the month of Purim, because the Yom Tov of Purim, the entire month is transformed to joy. It's a successful month for all Yidden in all their matters, specifically and especially. It's a time of success in all matters of Yiddishkeit, and the Rebbe is encouraging us to go to court, to take our inner guy to court and be victorious in all ways.